what it is. What's up? It's Sunday, and it's time for Whatchu Spinnin' episode 72. We're back here in the doghouse on 98.8 The Spin. Just kidding. I'm nice. Dorian, joined with me, as always, by Matt. How are you, my buddy?
Doing good on the spin.
On the spin. He just hit a banana in Mario Kart because he's spinning. Jake, how are you, my man?
Good, man.
Hell yeah.
We here.
We're ready to rock. Before we get into our quick first little segment, I got to ask the question that we always ask. Anybody listen to anything dope? Don't show your ass and, like, you know, give away part of the next segment, but, you know, obviously. Anything that you're just like, oh, heard this was tight.
I don't want to ruin my...
Okay, cool. Sounds like we will omit the what you've been listening to. Or do you got
I'll
something?
say,
okay.
that new Vince album.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good.
I haven't listened to it.
Me either.
Pretty good. It came out like a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty couple good songs on there. Pretty new, pretty fresh.
Hell yeah.
Besides that, I've been going back into Leather Boulevard by B. Kool-Aid.
Ooh.
It's like the Pink Sifu and Ali collab that they have.
Right.
Leather Boulevard, really good.
Cool.
Really, really good.
Nice.
Apart from that, yeah. These albums we're bringing up.
Yeah. These albums that we're bringing up, great to revisit and hear something brand new to me. But outside of that, been getting into an album that I'm going to bring up. Like, I'm going to bring it up very shortly. It's coming in the mail. Wairunga by Fat Freddy's Drop. It's one that I sent you guys like a couple months ago. Great, like, dub reggae from New Zealand. It's like a live album, apparently.
Yeah.
Didn't know that until like a week ago, and I've, like I said, listening to it forever. And I was like, wait, it's like a live album? It's like in someone's like big ass backyard. It's all on YouTube, I guess. It's like,
Ooh,
but
that sounds really interesting.
It's pretty cool.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, and so yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm getting that here soon, and then yeah, I guess just like this. Oh, got way heavy into Ramshackle Glory and other Pat the Bunny projects a couple weeks back. Just nothing new per se, but revisiting some old goodies, I guess.
Nice. I can dive into just one artist.
Yeah.
And she's not new, but she's been around. She's a Grammy Award-winning artist. Her name's Aruj Aftab. She's from Pakistan. I sent you guys her new album. What was it, Night Rain?
Yeah.
Very cool. It's almost ambient. It's got some hip-hop on it. It's got some slowed down stuff on it. It's really good.
Nice.
And I actually ordered her vinyl on Spotify. Signed.
Hey.
For $40.
There you go.
Hey.
So
Nice.
Hell yeah.
excited about that. But yeah, she just really mellow, has a cool voice. Kind of has that Lisa Gerrard feel from Dead Can Dance.
Okay.
But it's a little bit more modern.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where is she from?
Pakistan.
From Pakistan.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she'll speak English, but she also does her own language, I'm sure.
That's cool.
Nice.
But I enjoyed it. And I just heard it. It came out, or I listened to it on Friday. It just came up on Spotify. And I love Spotify for that reason, because it always throws things out there that you never would find. And it just looks at what you listen to, and I like that. So thank you, Spotify.
There's speaking of Spotify, I found out about them a while ago, like a year or so ago. Moto Mukhtar. It's like they're also kind of, I guess, like Pakistan Indian kind of. I don't know what specifically where, but also really good. I think it might be similar to that, but I need to look at that. I do remember you sending that.
I do. I remember that as well. I don't think I listened to it when it first came through.
Oh, you guys like it. I know you
Hell
will.
yeah. I love that. And it's like signed on just randomly.
Yeah, the lithograph. Yeah, I'm like, hell yeah, dude. I'll take that.
Right on. Hell yeah. Well, before we get into today's albums, we got Matt hit us up this morning wanting to know if we wanted to do another little Q&A sesh. He had a couple questions bouncing around in that old brain of his. I'm going to go ahead and ask the group. Matt, if I fuck up anything, let me know.
No,
you just want me to hammer them out 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. First question, and we'll let you guys all answer last, obviously. What album is your hidden secret that only few close to you know that you listen to? I still don't have a fucking answer for this one,
Okay,
so
I'll start it out.
like I have like an answer, but then I don't. You know,
I brought mine, so
okay.
that way I can show it off.
Oh,
Don't judge me. don't hate me. I don't bring up country ever, but George Strait, Oceanfront Property.
Fuck yes.
Wow.
And this is an original. I don't know. I don't like country music at all, but for some reason there's some songs on here that are just catchy and silly, but just one of those-
Didn't see that coming.
I love it. Yes.
Nice.
Awesome.
So that's it. I've got a few more, but nobody's going to find out about those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have some stuff too that I'll like. I kind of just I'm a little obsessed with, but no, I don't tell anyone because I don't want to get judged.
It took me like, sorry, just to real quick.
Yeah.
That was me with Machine Girl. It took me like a coming to Jesus moment to
Really?
like, to tell you, I'm like, I don't like, I like it so much. I only want to listen to it with
Yeah.
like, no one else can have that. Like
Yeah.
I was, you know what I mean?
'Cause I thought that's a great album.
It was.
Yeah, that I have some
Samples
of them like
alone,
that.
you know?
Lately, for me, it's been Orquídeas by Kali Uchis, her latest album. My girlfriend got me that album, and we played a lot.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
Played that a lot.
We like that. I mean, fuck, man. God damn it. I want to copy exactly what Matt just did, and basically, or do I just want to point over my shoulder and be like, hey, because I don't know. Anyway, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna copy you.
Do it.
Exactly, because I was kind of already thinking it. Bell Bottom Country by Lainey Wilson. I don't own this album.
Nice.
I got to see her, me and my girlfriend, last year at Oregon Jamboree.
Oh, shit.
The day after we saw Lynyrd Skynyrd, she was performing, like as like sun was setting and everything, and I was fucking 3 sheets to the wind, and I was fucking crying during her show because
She's
it
got
was
a good stage presence.
oh
for
yeah,
sure.
beautiful voice, and then just a lot of things, like it all just hit me at once, and I was like this bitch is really doing it. I was like, she kills. And then that's like one that I put on when like no one was here the other day. I was like, I'm gonna fucking just, and it's like,
I'm gonna crank this.
yeah, it's very, it's very much like that early. It just reminds me of like driving around with like my grandma and shit, because it's like the Dixie Chicks, now the Chicks, whatever, like early 2000s kind of country feel. And then she does a couple covers that are really good, but that one really good. Bell Bottom Country, I think it came out 2 years ago.
Yeah, she's really good.
Yeah.
I've only seen her on Yellowstone, the TV show, and even her stage presence when she's doing her thing is great.
Hell yeah.
It's like, fuck.
No, I was walking through Albertsons the other day, and she was like, there was like a contest, like, get backstage passes to meet Lainey Wilson with Coors Light. And I was like, damn, this bitch made it. I was like, I caught her like right before she exploded. I was like, I came home, I was like, you realize like she's the thing now? I was like, I had no idea who this broad was a year ago.
She got super popular.
Yeah.
Super, super popular.
But yeah, that one's like, I don't like to say that a lot, but yeah, that shit rules.
Now we know.
I'll say another. Wise Blood, Titanic Rising.
Oh my
I
God.
brought that up, and I was like, it was super bold of me to bring it up because it's like very much not kind of my alley.
Oh yeah.
But
That was a fun
I love
album.
that album.
Yeah.
I love that album. I'll still play it.
Hell yeah. That is a great one too.
I love her voice.
Okay. Hell yeah. That was question one.
Question one
of the
is in
Q&A.
the books.
Episode 72 style.
Getting to know
This
you.
one I'm really excited about. Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Part due.
Part day. God damn. Spell everything with a UX at the end of it, like an LSU fan. What music genre do you find yourself enjoying more of lately? Anybody want to dive on this first?
I'll start.
Go ahead.
Probably obvious, but ambient music. I've been finding other subgenres within that genre that are a little bit more like electronic and stuff. Tangerine Dream, that album that I bought yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
William Basinski,
Okay.
older artist. Not like drone heavy, but definitely different subgenres. So it's it's kind of cool to find that because Brian Eno's great, and it's just cool to see other people doing their thing because there's so many other people out there doing ambient music. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
And different styles of it. So
Yeah. It is so crazy, to think it's like who were like the biggest names in ambient music, and it's like you don't know, but there's like the followings that they do have. Like Eno fans are so passionate and like
diehard.
Yeah. But it's like it's just funny to think about, and be like, wow, there's like a whole world that nobody has any idea about, basically. That's sick. I've been kind of wanting to get into that as well. I almost like I'm kind of thinking of just going and buying an Eno record just because. Just be like, buy it.
You should.
Like, yeah.
You should.
I would say, because you have this as well, Another Green World, because it has both sides. It's got the ambient and the
Ooh.
super
vocal.
good.
I was
Super
I was thinking of that one in particular too. So hell yeah, fuck yeah, ambient music, dude.
One that I've been getting back into, Spanish music, but like specifically like corridos. So like old school, like Chalino, and then new school with like Fuerza Regida and like Peso Pluma, stuff like that. I've been getting back into corridos and just Spanish music in general.
Hell yeah. That was still Calino Sanchez that one night. Still
Yeah.
one of the
That was so.
that one night, just like what
That
are we
one night
doing
was
here?
hilarious.
You should send more links.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a whole playlist that
Okay. You
I
should
send
send
you
that.
it. It's,
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
send
take it.
you
Yeah,
it.
please
It's
do.
just
Yeah.
like all like just Spanish.
Cool.
Spanish music. It's like 10 hours long or something stupid.
Yeah, it's a good one. I still revisit that one. I actually have a date with that coming up because I'm making pupusas, which is like a fucking 4-hour
Ooh,
undertaking.
nice.
So I've got a date with the Spanish joints playlist, as it's
Yes.
called. And mine that I've been kind of getting into lately is like jazz fusion / like jam band stuff. So a lot of like Headhunters. Obviously, I've been mentioning that a lot. Thrust by Herbie Hancock, the album he put out right before. Also great jazz fusion. And then fucking the Grateful Dead, man. I finally fucking get it. I get it, guys.
I don't think I ever did, but some of the tracks that you're sending me or us as a group, I've been like, oh, okay, or that are on the
Blend.
On the blend, yeah. I'm like, this is a good song. Oh, it's the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so that's been fun. And then, we kind of mentioned it last episode, Medeski, Martin, and Wood, that kind of stuff. Yeah, just kind of, and then, Jaco Pastorius, just all sorts of, I don't know, stuff. I think it's the fact that there's like a lot of good bass lines within those kind of two genres. And then, yeah, I'm just getting back into playing music. And so I'm like, man, fucking just listening to 12 minutes of some dude going crazy. It's like, damn, I don't know. I'm not like, I get why people are obsessed and why people lost, years of their lives to following the Dead on tour. Cause I'm like, I could get it. I could get why people become obsessed with this. But, outside of that, yeah, just that kind of stuff. And then shout out the Herbs, dude. As soon as I like wrapped up being obsessed with Headhunters, I'm like, fuck, Thrust is so good too. I'm like, he can't miss. Yeah, just that kind of stuff I've been really liking. So
You're right. The Grateful Dead is an experience. It is like, I was able to attend one show when I was 15, and it's like
Really?
a whole thing. Like, it's insane. There's people being carried out on stretchers because they're tripping on acid too much, and it's just insane. And that was with Jerry before he died.
Damn,
It's crazy.
that's nuts.
I don't know. Portland Meadows, or I don't think that's still there anymore, up in Portland.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Hell yeah. Third question. This one's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
I like this question.
Yeah,
It's tough.
you've got 5 minutes to find 3 vinyls in a record store that has every album you've ever wanted in stock. What do you grab?
I've started off too many times.
Okay,
One of you guys.
I got you.
Okay.
So I recently found this out, and funny, I'm wearing the dude's T-shirt, but Ghostmain did a box set of every EP / like project he did from like 2011 to 2017, right up until basically everything he released up until his album Noise that I have. I just recently found this out because I've been obsessed with his album Black Mage, and people are not selling it piecemeal, so you have to pay someone like $800 for the whole box set.
Holy
for
cow.
everything in there, which makes sense because that's the most that's the most money I've spent on a record is that album of his. So I would grab that immediately. Probably because it does exist, even though it's madly bootlegged, the Jet Set Radio Future video game soundtrack for the original Xbox. It's what Machine Girl started their career with, was remixing that soundtrack.
Cool.
And it's like one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard. Hideki Naganuma, I believe is his name. Insane producer. So probably that, and then I would probably do I don't want to do like. I mean, obviously, hiding places would be sick.
I have that on my list. I'm like, nope.
Yeah, I'm like. I mean, obviously,
it's getting repressed. It's getting repressed.
It's gonna happen.
Settle down.
hell yeah.
Speak it to the wind, it'll happen.
So, I mean, obviously, someone had to say it. That would be a no-brainer. But I would go something like, because I think it exists out there. Something Wrong Here by Rez. That tape that I brought up probably about like 30, 40 episodes ago. Just that mixtape changed my fucking life. So, just nuts. Anyway, those would be my 3, and someone else can go.
Damn. I like this question because it makes me think hard about it.
No, it's tough.
Especially like, one, would I like if we see these said albums in person? Are they like valued? Well, like, can I actually buy it? Because I don't know.
So that's what I assumed. I was assuming like
me
things,
too.
like
you can buy this album,
not dickhead Discogs
like,
prices.
Yeah, like
right?
Yeah. So number 3, I would do Makami, Gospel According to the GAT. I had to, just because who knows if it actually exists. Like, there's, I don't know, maybe like 2 stock photos of the actual vinyl online ever, and no one has actually. There's no picture of it on a record, like someone spinning it. It's the strangest thing.
So nobody's
ever.
sure if it's been pressed or not.
It's been pressed,
It
but
has. Okay.
no one knows who has them or what. So I think just seeing
So
it,
mysterious.
I think just seeing it in a
Makami.
store would be like just weird.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
be like, I just saw a ghost.
Yeah. Like, let's be real. If I walk into like House of Records and they have that Ghostmane box set, my head is flying off of my
Yeah.
shoulders. I'm not making the purchase
I'm
because
screaming and I'm
yeah.
punching someone. Like,
I'm leaving in a stretcher and doing the Urlacher thumbs up as I leave. Like,
yeah. So that'd be my number 3. My second would be Freddie McGregor, the Anthology.
oh,
I love that album. It's a reggae album. I've been looking for it every time I go to Moonrock. I just go straight to the reggae section under F, under M, never there. Upsetting. If it was there, I would totally cop it. And then my favorite, or I guess not my favorite, but another one that I would be on the lookout for is, and I've had this in my want list for the longest time on Discogs, Twilight, Still Loving You. Just phenomenal stuff. It's been sampled so heavily, so much. It's been sampled by Jay Dilla, by Doom. Kanye sampled it. I've been wanting it for a long time. There's a couple on Discogs, but they're $100. So if I could get it in store, in person, that would be a whole experience.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Damn.
Love that. Matt.
You guys had some great choices. For me, mine are all pretty like, oh yeah, Matt would pick this. But, no, I don't give a fuck. So, first one would be first pressing, probably of a Canadian version of 2112 by Rush. That'd be nice to have. Second would be the promo version of the Downward Spiral by Nine Inch Nails.
Shit.
It's
Okay.
going for like $300 online right now.
Damn.
And then last would be Portrait of an American Family by Manson, which isn't too expensive, but it's hard to find a good copy of it. So.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
industrial weirdness for me.
I love that. I love that. I was listening.
And hiding places.
I was listening. I listened to a couple tracks off of Portrait of an American Family earlier this week. It's a good one.
I just like the guitar because it's very unique, and we don't hear guitar like that ever, especially that era.
No, it is very like. It sounds like they plugged their guitar into a cell phone. Like the amp, like the tone of the guitar in that album is so weird, and it's like pre John 5, so it's like
it's just very like it's almost like that sounds right, but no, it doesn't. Yeah,
Right.
it does.
Hell yeah. Well, one other thing, just because it's not, I don't know if it's ever been sold as a box set, and I already have the first volume, but I would finish out my collection of the Special Herbs series by MF Doom. That exact run, because that's like $100 a pop for those. Like, you don't see those for less than $80 if they're good quality of that specific one. So I wish I would have bought those when I had the chance. That's one that I'm like, fuck, out of anything I should have just tried to collect as much of as like right when I saw it was those, because I used to see those all the time.
That's a grail you have. That's like
Yeah.
a pretty rare one that you have that I'm still jealous about.
Yeah, it does not. I don't spin it that much. It kind of just chills.
Yeah.
I did bring out, had it on my wall a couple weeks back, my copy of Mad Villainy, which is like the first album I ever bought like 9 years ago. I'm just like, God damn. But hell yeah. That concludes the Q&A session. We'll be right back to dive into today's content. It's What You Spin in episode 72. Stick around. Fun fact before we dive in. This is funny if you like, if I don't know, this is just something nerdy I found out. My
it's
album.
Funny if you're a nerd.
So it's funny if you're a nerd. Yeah. It's like, so fast forward. No, Jacob's album is 14 years after mine, and yours is 7 years after his.
Ooh.
What's half of 14? 7, motherfucker.
Cool.
And this is coming from a guy who didn't pass Algebra 2. So suck my dick, public school. I can do 14.
Look at me now, Mom.
I can do 14 divided by 2, dickheads. So who's laughing now? Anyway, it's What You Spin in episode 72, and we're here to kick it off with today's content, an album I'm very interested to talk about and kind of hear what y'all want to say. With Matt's pick, what you got, buddy?
We're going back in time, 2014. Indie band called From Indian Lakes. The album we are introducing is Absent Sounds. And I stumbled across this band via YouTube and saw a video for the song Ghost. And it was at a time in my life where I was, I guess, separated from my ex-wife. And so the whole album just kind of rang in my head, and it just got me through a lot of hard times. And I don't know what it was about this album. I think it was the lyrical content. A lot of the things he talks about have nothing to do with me, but I think the themes that he brings up are relevant to what I was going through, and so I just felt like I was basically becoming somebody else. In a sense, I was. So a lot of the songs have just stuck with me forever. I was able to see this band live up in Portland and had the whole meet and greet and got to meet Joey, and cool guy. And he was like, "You guys want me to play a song?" And nobody said anything. I'm like, and so I had him play a song off of Able Bodies, which is their album before this, called "I Don't Know You." And it was just him on acoustic guitar and just killed it. I was like, man,
Wow,
Damn.
That's cool.
that was cool.
That's badass.
And then we got to watch them perform. They did a great show, great set. And, so they've just kind of stuck with me, and I just love their music and their vibe. And some of the albums that have come out after these two, Able Bodies and Absent Sounds, weren't as catchy to me, but these two are just staples for me, and I love them. So what did you guys think?
Yeah, this was, I think I was funny thinking back on it, because I was like, oh, that album cover reminds me of Mimicking Birds, you know? So I was expecting like the acoustic, like stripped down indie sound. That's where it starts and ends with the similarities, is that indie-esque, whatever. I don't know. That's just such a broad term to throw out. But this, I also liked the vocal aspect, not so much for the lyrical content. I did pay attention to that. I did like it, but I liked the way that he used his voice rhythmically, because the one thing that caught my ear about this throughout was like the drumming on it was very intricate, and like the way it's like there was hardly like a traditional beat being played ever, and so that was very interesting. And then on songs like Breathe Desperately, you know, he's almost like scat, like, you know, his vocals like very staccato, like but like it's so it was just a very rhythmic experience. That's like the big thing. I was like, this is, it just feel, there's just so much rhythm going on with it that that's what drew me into it. And then the just kind of general feel that it produced, you know, I kind of had that. I could definitely see where you're coming from with it and everything. You know, it's like, yeah, the lyrical side to it is very, even though I might not identify with it personally, I still felt, I was like, oh yeah, no, I feel sad too.
Yeah.
For a different thing, but your lyrics about, it's weird how, you know, they're not, what I'm trying to say is two completely unrelated things. And I'm like, yeah, I identify with that. So.
Yeah,
I think starting off with Come Into This Light, it just kind of brings that whole, like, that's the shadow of the album throughout the entire project.
I could totally get that too. If you, like, depending on where you are in your life, you listen to this, it, you know, could change your perspective on a lot of stuff, because it is very introspective, the lyrics. Some songs, like, you have Runner, that it, like, it hit me in the feels too. Like, I was like, damn, it's like very introspective and deep lyrics, and Like the titles, everything going through it, it feels like a very like sentimental album, like very sentimental. There's a lot of like details behind it, and the storytelling is really good. But I loved it. I loved it. I got that you're saying that too, that his voice, he like kind of uses it as an instrument. And you said it perfectly.
Exactly.
That song, "Breathe Desperately," he like kind of like talks fast, like, and catches up to the drums in a way. Great detail. I love that. But fantastic album, man. I saw that they have a show coming up in Portland too.
They do.
So I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they just released a new album, Head Void.
Head what?
Head Void.
Head void.
Head Void.
I thought you. It sounded like Robin Williams doing the backwards bit for a second. Yep. I was like, what?
But he grew up in like outside of Yosemite, and he was a drummer. So
Oh, yeah.
and he got to just bang on drums all day. He said, reading up on him, like
Okay.
there was nobody around, so I could just bang on drums. So I think a lot of the drumming is him
That's
on
awesome.
the album. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was all very open. Like everything, the album had such like an airy kind of feel to it, and like openness, which I kind of feel like it fed into the kind of desperation that you kind of get in this album, because that's like the ultimate feel that you get from it. Is it's like, this is like a desperate man, It's
Yeah.
like, and I feel like the open airiness, it's like kind of the combination of the two is almost off-putting. It really makes you sit there and you're like, whoa, like this is so, but like the lyrical content is so, like desperate. I was going to use a different word, but it's like
heavy too.
Yeah,
like
it's so
sometimes.
heavy, and then the general airy. It's like very trance-like almost.
It does have a lot of cool different like musical styles in it. They slow it down, they speed it up, they put everything in the middle there, and they do it well.
Yeah, it almost kind of makes sense that you're getting into ambient. And you brought this up because it kind of if it just stripped down a little bit, it would be basically an ambient album.
Sure.
So
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. No, I like it just because it does bring you back, and it can touch on different levels for each of you guys. But for me individually, it changed me as a person, and it's something that I enjoy music when it can do that to you, when it can inspire you, it can make you feel that emotion and either help you overcome it or figure a way around it. And this album for me, it did that. And I think looking back on it now, I didn't realize that until we kind of revisited it. And just going back to it, because I haven't listened to it in a while. I was able to find it on vinyl on eBay because it had a print. And they had like a variant. It was the green spiral. And I was like, hell yeah. I'll take it.
yeah.
Great.
I was looking at the picture you sent. I was like, what the hell? I was like, that thing looks crazy. But that's, yeah, I mean, it's striking, I was listening to it right before you guys showed up. I was like, still trying to wrap my head around, even 2 weeks later, I was like, I feel like there's and the thing that floored me the most about it is that there's all of this going on, and it's less than like 40 minutes
I know it's
long.
a short, sweet album.
And
100%.
but then the places it goes within that time frame is nuts. It's like, how the hell do you do all that? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, it leaves you, it's again one of those things that like it just leaves you wanting more. And I kind of like that the songs aren't catchy,
They're not, yeah.
Like,
I don't think there's any,
I think,
maybe Am I Alive has that run where there's that,
Yeah.
that same lyric.
but yeah,
But ending it with the song Fog, too, I think is a
Oh,
great
yeah.
way to end the album. It showcases everything they've done together throughout the whole entire album.
yeah, Fog, great way to end it. I liked the, what was it? Search for More.
That's a good track, too.
That like kind of felt like the landing gear coming off, coming out of the plane to land the bitch. But yeah, Fog was a great way to round it up. When you saw them live, what was the band like? Was it like two guys?
It was
or?
Joey. It was basically it was a drummer, guitar player, and a keyboard sampler. Yeah.
Cool. I didn't know if he was just solo dolo or
Nah,
something.
he's going up there and doing his thing, playing guitar.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun show. Cool crowd.
Good.
That's
Good.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that. When you like listen to something and you get so attached to the band and you go see them and it's like comes out exactly what you were expecting.
Yeah,
Like,
because you never know.
yeah, if live like their crowd is rowdy or they don't like sound the same, but and that's cool that they just did that too for like the fans when you showed up there that just played something
Yeah.
Whoever wanted to play something, just play something.
Right. And be able to meet them live.
Right.
And be like so pretentious or, a lot of the things you read about musicians, whether they're super famous or not, that can come across, not in a very pleasant way. And everybody that I've met throughout my life have all been very cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's funny that people are like they're all assholes, and it's like no, you've never met Sammy Hagar. That guy rules.
I got a picture with Perry Farrell, motherfucker.
Yeah, come on now. Billy Wood sells his merch.
We probably could have got a picture with him had we stayed at the show.
Yeah,
we probably could have.
Yeah. But that's super. That just adds to the whole experience of it. The emotional aspect of the attachment to the album, and then that cool intimate experience. And of course, no one speaks up. It's like no, he's asking you to do.
That's why we're all here. We paid $20 extra, whatever it was. It's like you ain't gonna say anything. You not know any of the songs? Come on.
Yeah. Just fucking tell him to play a Creed song. Yeah. God, fucking anything. He doesn't even have to be one of his.
Right. Some Hootie?
Yeah.
Ain't no Hootie, man.
No one's yelling Freebird. What the hell?
I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah. It made me. It's kind of funny seeing this little trail of albums that we're kind of doing lately where it's like everybody's influencing each other in some back-asswards way. Like you bring up Jane's Addiction and I'm like, all right, Smashing Pumpkins. And then we've been doing this weird indie back and forth. And then you're like, all right, here's fucking From Indian Lakes. And it's like, all right, where are we going from here? Because now I'm thinking about bringing up stuff like that. And I'm like, God damn.
Yeah.
So, and I always like I said earlier, indie's such a broad term to throw on something.
It is, yeah.
So I like hearing anything that can be classified as such because so much great stuff just gets thrown in there, and it's like, oh, I've heard it all, and it's like,
no, you haven't.
No, you have not.
Because you guys have brought up stuff I've never heard of that I would consider indie in a sense.
Yeah.
And vice versa, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So love this album. Awesome that you caught it. We were talking about it right before you got here. I was like, because we were listening to Block Party or something, and I was like, yeah, these bands that were so good put out one good album, they never repressed it because they just broke up after that.
Yep.
And so you're looking for albums from fucking 07
Yep. Not gonna find it.
Yeah, that are from the UK. Someone's used as a placemat for the last 4 years. But hell yeah, From Indian Lakes. Do we want to get into some top threes?
Let's do it.
Hit her up.
Honorable mentions for me, I got 2. Am I Alive? Just because I think it has that catchy. It's the catchiest song on the album for sure.
Yeah.
And then Fog would be my runner-up because it's a great way to end the album. And then 3, 2, 1. 3 would be Sleeping Limbs. 2, Awful Things. And then just because it's the first song I ever heard by the band, Ghost. It's my favorite track.
Rock on.
Nice.
I like that. I will go next. Honorable mentions for me. First one, Am I Alive? Same reason. I do feel like that might have been the only catchy potential. And number 2 for honorable mention was Search for More. Like I said earlier, just liked how that kind of was a lot of stuff happened in the middle of the album, and then before you know it, the end is coming. Number 3 for me, Awful Things. We played that before we sat down. Love that song. Number 2, Label This Love. Really, I felt like that's when the album really kicked in for me. Yeah. His vocals on that were out of this world. And then number 1 for me, Breathe, Desperately. Just love the rhythmic. I don't know. I got a lot of rhythm out of that song. Loved it. Go ahead and rewind about 7-8 minutes to hear me talk about that one. I love that song.
Yeah. Honorable mention, I'm going with Ghost. I like that song too. A second honorable mention, Runner. When I heard that, I really listened to the lyrics, and it kind of made me change my perspective on the album. I was like, okay, this is actually kind of deep. Some of these songs are have more meaning to them. Number 3, Come in This Light. Love that as an intro to the album. Number 2, Awful Things. And then my favorite song was Sleeping Limbs.
Nice.
But this, I really like this album. But I feel like this is an album that I would keep tucked away just for the right time. For me, I feel I don't know. Because I've been kind of emotional lately. And I could see it getting me emotional.
Yeah.
Because it was deep sometimes, man. I was like, oh, damn, this is fucking hurting.
Yeah.
But it was it's so good, though. I actually really like it.
In case of emergency, break glass. Put this on and cry.
There you go.
There you go. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Great. From Indian Lakes, Absent Sounds, which was released in 2014. My man Matt's pick for this week. We'll be right back to Move backwards in time even further with Jake's for this week. It's What You Spin in episode 72. Stick around, you clown. Hello.
Is there anybody
In there. There'll be no more. Hell yeah. Well, it's time to move right along into the second album for this week's fantastic episode 72 of What You Spinnin'. We're going to kick it over to my buddy Jake. One I'm, again, super stoked to talk about. Haven't heard it in a while. What you got?
It's 2007 Arctic Monkeys' Favorite Worst Nightmare.
Ooh.
When I brought this up, I said it was the debut. It is not their debut. It's their second album. Their first album, whatever people say I am, that's what I'm not. That came out in 06. This was 07, so a year after. This one I've heard for a long time. It's been with me for a long time. I've had a lot of appreciation for it. It was kind of, I guess, my intro to like music outside of the U.S. in a way, and like British indie rock, if you want to call it that.
Okay.
But
That's a good term. I'd say so.
Yeah.
British indie rock. For
British indie rock, yeah. It's pretty British. It's maybe not as British as Idols.
But as I coined them, obnoxiously British,
Yeah,
but in the best way.
Very British, but this is up there. Probably one of the more popular groups from there. But yeah, what did you guys think about it?
I never listened to Arctic Monkeys. I've heard of the band, of course. How can you not? They're hugely popular. And for whatever reason, whenever I see that a band's like mainstream, I don't follow them. I don't know why that is, but it's just how I was back in the day. I've kind of changed that attitude a little bit lately. But Arctic Monkeys, it's a great band. This album showcases it all, like from start to finish. They're so good. These songs are catchy. The first song I heard was 505, and it's got that slow kind of feel to it. And for me, it just drew me in. I was like, okay, they can do this, and then they just mix it up. And apparently, every album that they do, it kind of sounds different, which is even cooler that a band can do that and stay relevant and be so popular. So I enjoyed it a lot. It's fun.
Yeah, this is kind of they're like, hey, this is us kind of coming onto the scene album, and it's iconic. As soon as you pulled it out, I was like, yeah, I know exactly. Like the cover, knew it immediately, and it's fantastic. This was a group that I got into when I was about a senior in high school. My buddy James, shout out, got me into Arctic Monkeys and Muse. Their album AM, Arctic Monkeys, their album AM had just come out. That one's really good. Has a very, it's like very suave, like kind of almost like a jazz, like not a jazzy, but like very Sinatra. It's just got like a very like Sinatra kind of feel to it. You should check it out. But it was like that album and this I was just obsessed with. I was still playing bass heavy at the times before I stopped for a long time. I was learning like everything I could by these guys. I was like, their bass lines are nuts. Brian Storm, what a fucking way to start this album off, man. And if this is your introduction to Arctic Monkeys and you start there, my God.
It's a great starting point.
Yeah. It's a great way to start off this
I
album.
will vouch for that.
And it's just, it starts off like, and that's the thing, it starts off with that, and then you've got Teddy Picker, D is for Dangerous, Balaclava. Like, it just keeps coming. And it's like, Jesus, it like hardly drops off, if ever, but it doesn't for so long. And
No,
it's
and
like,
then, like the house is a circus. It just like,
oh my God,
just rolls, and you're like, what is going on?
yeah, it's like you're drowning in. It's like you're falling down a river, and you're like getting bashed by rocks. And by the time you're back up, you hear "This House is a Circus." And you're like, "What the fuck? We're halfway through." What happened back there? It's like again, a lot going on, and it just takes you for a ride. It's like you better hang tight because it's going fast, and it just powers through these songs, and it's so incredible. The musicianship behind it is unreal. I love this. So
Not what
shout
I
out.
expect. Not what I expected at all. I don't know why, but this was so catchy and like
Yeah.
clever and like lyrically good and musically good too.
It's like it's a lot faster than their first album. Their first album is kind of a little slower, so this one was a lot faster. They're kind of leaned more into like the rock side of it. I brought my friend Oscar brought this up when we were in high school, and we were listening to what's that song, Fluorescent Adolescence, when we were writing his Scion TC, just blasting it as you do, high school shit. But yeah, shout out Oscar, he's in Canada now. But
Hell
anyways, it's like the guitar on it, the bass on it,
Yeah.
like some bass lines on it are super catchy. Like This House is a Circus, the bass do like that. You have 505 that it's like slow, and it's been getting a lot of recognition lately. It has over 1 billion streams on
Really?
Spotify.
Jesus
It's fucking
Christ.
nuts.
Yeah.
But no, it's a really great listen. It's definitely AM is another one that I feel like probably more people like.
Isn't that one of their bigger albums?
Yeah.
Probably their
I think
bigger
so, yeah.
album.
Yeah, this is like that's probably like their most popular for sure, but this was kind of like their, in my opinion, this would like be their magnum opus. Like, they're kind of
Yeah.
do you have, sorry, I felt like a couple.
No,
okay.
no.
I have one, like, speaking of like Fluorescent Adolescent, I made this note. The way, and you were just kind of talking about it, the way that they record their guitars and like write their songs are so insane, because they have 2 guitarists and that bassist, and they're doing things that one person can't do, clearly, because it's like guitars and bass. But even if you were to try to play those 2 guitar parts on one guitar, it's nuts to try and do, because they're like do 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 bip baby, like they're just like bouncing these things. It's very like I'm like, were you guys like fucking band kids? Like, because it's all very it's very like conductor-esque, like very do 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 beep beep boop. It's like, what the hell? Like, if they were to like hook it up to lights, and that would signify the different parts, it would just be it would be crazy. I was like sitting here thinking about that this morning. I was like, this song, I was like, they're doing all the crazy stuff. So just the way that they do that, and then the tone that they use on all the instruments, the guitars and the bass, is very, it is almost makes it hard to decipher between the two, especially on songs like Brianstorm. But then Fluorescent Adolescent, they kind of bleed that line a little bit. So yeah, I was becoming obsessed with that. Outside of there's impeccable drumming on this album as well. The end of Teddy Picker, Jesus Christ, that cowbell or like woodblock sequence that he's doing is nuts. But yeah, just the instrumentation behind this, I feel, is like the way that they wrote all of those parts was nuts.
The way they changed the sound throughout the whole entire album, the way they're playing their instruments and the musical styles they're choosing, it's insane that they can do that and incorporate it all into one album. It sounds like it could be on any number of different albums.
Yeah, it's like, is this a greatest hits or the essential Arctic Monkeys? Because it's
right?
such a amalgamation of everything.
Yeah.
I definitely understand what you're saying too, because exactly, like, this house is again, it's like the circus,
It comes out of left field, and you're like, but it's good. It was one of my favorite tracks.
Yeah.
When I took away, I was like, wow, these guys are talented to be able to just alter their sound so much throughout one album. You don't see that very often, especially back in, what was it, 2007?
7, yeah.
7. They have like slow down songs, faster songs. Like, you have Do Me a Favor that this whole last 2 weeks, I've just, like, every time I need something, I'll be like, hey, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
And they're like, what? Break my nose?
Yeah.
like just something stupid. But you'll have songs like that where it like has a break where it slows down and it's just like a little guitar strum, and then it just goes hard in the end. And then 505, same thing, slow, and then just hard in the end. Like, it's crazy that they do that throughout this album. It's very different, but to the core, it's like still kind of indie rock based in a way.
Oh yeah.
And I've always liked his voice too. I've always liked the singer's voice.
Yeah, Alex Turner, I believe, is his name, or something like that.
Something like that.
But yeah, great vocalist. I do agree with you there. And just insane, like I said, insane songwriting, lyrically, anything. Just the I know I keep saying it, but man, just like the way that it starts off and you just get sucked in like a whirlpool. It's like that's in every song you can just sit there and like boogie to for some reason or another. I was sitting here holding the dog earlier today, just like bopping along to it, and I was like, yeah, this isn't like dancing music, but it makes me want to groove, man.
It does. It does.
Fucking I thought I had one more thing, maybe. 505, that song. I did like the use of like the drum rims on the intro. Because even after you think like, oh no, he's doing like, you know, the cymbals and everything, he does it for an absurdly long amount of time. And I don't think it's just like snare, you know, all here. I think he's doing some pretty interesting stuff. One thing that I saw on the Wikipedia for this, like some British magazine or newspaper said, if you took everything away but its drumming, it's still, and this is how I knew it was British, it's still a gripping listen. So they basically were just saying, which, you know, if I were to translate, I would think that means it's good even if it's just the drumming, which I agree with. The drumming on this is fucking impeccable, but I thought that was like a music journal saying like, yeah, if this were just drums, it would be sick. It's sick in and of itself, but if it were just, I'm like, okay, cool. So yeah, shout out. I can't remember the dude's name now. I literally was like, I gotta shout out the drummer.
No, but I mean, glad you guys liked it.
Yeah, it was great.
A good listen to, kind of a more mainstream, I guess, if you want to call it, but just something that to kind of cleanse the palate from all the indie picks. One more indie pick, but
Oh yeah,
yeah. You guys want to go into top threes?
let's hit it.
All right. Honorable mention. Fluorescent Adolescent, just because that was the first song I heard on this album, and I was obsessed with it. And then I was like, wait, there's a whole other side of the album, whole 11 tracks after. So yeah, it's not just that song. And then number 3, I'm gonna go with Old Yellow Bricks.
Nice.
I've always liked that song, kind of a deeper cut. Number 2, Do Me a Favor. Been bumping that. Played that before when we were listening to the songs. And my favorite song, definitely Balaclava. I've been loving that song lately.
Good choice.
So yeah.
Rock on. I'll go next. First honorable mention for me, D is for Dangerous. It's where they get the track, or the album title is from a line in that song. And also just, I mean, my name starts with D, man. Come on now. No, it's not that bass level. It was just a good song. Second honorable mention, 505. I mean, Jake said it. It's got a billion streams for a fucking reason. It's a good track. Number 3 for me is Do Me a Favor. Liked it. Not enough to put it number 2, but enough to put it number 3. Number 2 for me, Brian Storm. Been just loving that. It's just, everything is so powerful in that song. Love it. Number 1 for me, Teddy Picker. Great follow-up to Brian Storm. And yeah, just the way it breaks down at the end, it's very jungly and like, just makes you want to dance. So yeah.
Like you're in the jungle.
Yes.
I get it. I do that at home. This album, I think, had some interesting alternate album titles, didn't it?
I can't remember. I can't remember.
I didn't read up. What was it?
One was the song title you just mentioned, Gary.
D is for Dangerous.
No, what was it? Gary, what's the song called?
Teddy Picker?
No, the other one. I don't know. One of the song titles was album titles, Lesbian Wednesdays.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why would you name an album like that? Like, I feel like this is a catchier title. I'm glad they didn't name it that.
No.
So random.
So random.
That wouldn't have stuck. That would have been bad.
Honorable mention, Do Me a Favor. Number 3 would be 505 because that kind of drew me in with the slower feel for it. Really like that song. Number 2, House is a Circus, because it's so goofy and off the wall, but you just want to keep playing it. I love that track. And then number 1 for me was Teddy Picker.
Hell yeah.
That's the one.
Rock on, rock
Teddy.
on. Teddy. Heck yeah. Well, that is 2007's Favorite Worst Nightmare by Arctic Monkeys. Jake's pick for this week. Thanks for bringing it up. It was a blast getting to revisit that bad boy. What do you say we wrap this Mamma Jamma up and talk about my pick for this week?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. It's Whatchu Spinnin' episode 72. Stick around. Once again, if you like 90s rock, can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah, brother.
It's time to wrap up another fantastic episode of Whatchu Spinnin. I'm your host, Dorian. Joined with me, that's Matt, and that guy, that's Jake. We're here to wrap it up, talk about an iconic album, a group that almost got brought up during the 1995 episode by me. I almost brought up Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, but that came 2 years after this beautiful album, which is Siamese Dream by Smashing Pumpkins, released in 1993. The follow-up to their debut, Gish. Billy Corgan, what a dude. What a frickin' dude. What an album. Yeah, I'll put a sock in it for now.
Hello.
I guess I'll start.
I was like, I'll fucking keep going. Go ahead.
I'll start. Loved it. I've heard just like the bigger songs on this album, like Today. But some of these deeper cuts, very fucking good. Very good. I really liked Hummer. Their second half of the album, I feel like, is a lot more slowed down. And I read somewhere that like the genres that they were like putting it into was like shoegazy, and I kind of got some of that towards the end. I was like, kind of like shoegazy, like
A little bit.
There's so many genres going on this album. It's
Yeah.
insane.
because it's like there'll be like heavier rock, and then it's like acoustics, and there's a violin in some of them. Like it's just nuts, but it's great. I actually really dig it.
Hell yeah. I'm glad that you did.
You made me fall back in love with Billy Corgan. I always give him a bad rap whenever anybody asks me about him. I'm like, oh, he's pretentious. Oh, he's this. And it's me being stupid because I saw him on a Rush documentary and he was being pretentious. But he's just that's how he is. And he's a great musician. He's talented. Basically wrote this album himself, I think, for the most part. Songwriting and everything else. Was asked to play most of the instruments during the recording process, too, which is awkward. But at the same time, that just shows how much talent he had. And I think this band is underrated. I think they inspired a lot of other bands that we've talked about. This album came out in 92, and you think about all the albums that came out afterwards, you're like, geez.
Yeah.
All these sounds that they're creating on this album are so, like, they're copied. Honestly, they are. You know?
Yeah.
And I think it's hard not to copy a guitar riff. You know, everything sounds the same after four. You know, there's 4 different chords, you know, for a while. But I don't know. This album is so good. It's so good.
I'm glad that y'all liked it. I was like, man, because I kind of had the same thing, you know. I was like, Billy Corgan's insufferable, blah blah blah, and it's like I didn't even have a Rush documentary to base that off of. That was just personal opinion.
Yeah.
Have I met the guy? Hell no.
Yeah.
But boy, I was fucking like 12 or 13 when I heard this fucking album for the first time. And like I was telling y'all, I only got as far as like Cherub Rock and Today, you know, and so it was, you know, a couple months back, and I got into this, and I heard Cherub Rock or something, and I was like, let me listen to the Siamese Dream again. I was like, when was the last time I did that, if ever? And fell down a rabbit hole, and I was like, holy crap, there's like Mayonnaise, Space Boy, Silverfuck. Like, again, the last half of the album is incredible, but then there's songs like Hummer, you know, and it's like, I like implore somebody to find a bad song off of this album. Even Sweet Sweet and Luna and all that, like everything.
Yeah.
It's and the stuff that Billy Corgan was going through, like you and I were talking about it earlier, he was like actively considering suicide and like gaining a shit ton of weight, and he's like, I'm fucking done. I'm gonna off myself, and then writes and makes one of the best albums of all time, all while the drummer's fucking on the like bordering on heroin overdose, you know,
they were trying to keep him in the studio, trying to cut him off from his connections. So bad. Jeez, just record the album, dude.
They brought him to like Georgia. They're like, hey, get the fuck get out of LA. Come on. So yeah, there was just the making of this album was so tumultuous to the point where, like you had said, Billy ended up recording everything himself, damn near, and it's like, God damn. It makes, I think he can get a pass for being a little bit of an asshole, you know?
But I think he deserves, because he's creative. He's an artist, and I think sometimes artists get a bad rap because of how they view themselves when they're talking in public or in an interview, and we take it the wrong way. And I think that's where I came into play. I was like, oh, he sounds stupid, but he's not. He's just being himself.
Yeah. Yeah. He also like owns now, just a weird little Billy Corgan fun fact.
Yeah.
He owns like a wrestling production, like an AEW adjacent WWE
Right. So
affiliate. It's rad. So
Nice.
here's also something insane, like just timelines. I liked when I was like 12 or 13 when Facebook got big, and so I liked everything that I was even remotely interested in, including Smashing Pumpkins. Despite knowing 4 of their songs, I was like, this deserves a like on Facebook. I think like they must have just restarted. They must have just hired a new person for social media, because every time I log into Facebook, there's a new post or like story post, and I'm like, God damn! Like this entire time leading up to this, every time I was on Facebook, it's Smashing Pumpkins. I'm like, I know, I like them. I'm talking about them in a week and a half. If you would stop showing me.
Damn AI.
So yeah, and it's like fun. So that's been also, I'm like seeing more of like that wrestling. So I'm like, that's how I found out. I was like,
That's hilarious.
I was like, where the fuck is Billy Corgan doing at a wrestling event? It's
Yeah.
like, it's almost
So
like the
random.
West Side Gun type of thing.
It's like, no, he's the owner.
Yeah.
That's his thing.
One little fun fact that I also want to share real quick. What do you guys know about Mayonnaise, that song? You guys like that?
How it's a killer song.
Killer
Good
song.
track. Yeah.
You know that like weird guitar sound that they're doing, that like almost feedback sounding, like that. So how they achieved that sound was Billy Corgan had a guitar. It's called a Telesco or something. They were made in like Japan or something, and they were popular in like the 50s and 60s. They had gold foil pickups. And so when they aged, they would sound very, very specific if they were plugged in and you just didn't play anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Billy Corgan, like just not playing anything, and this guitar just making a wild noise.
That's cool.
It's like,
I like that.
I've looked up numerous guitar lessons on that. I'm like, I want to know how to make that fucking like
Yeah.
sound. And it's like, no, you can't. It's this specific guitar. You can't replicate it. And then apparently the guitar like borderline exploded shortly after they finished making this album. Like,
Wow.
it was like wild. The most like the part that part of the song got me obsessed with Mayonnaise. Just that fucking guitar wail. I was like, oh, and I was like, I need to recreate that myself. And it's like, good luck, pal. Good luck. So that's very interesting. There's songs on here that have like 40 guitar tracks layered on each other.
Soma.
Yeah, Soma. That I was about to say, I can't remember. Like Soma has like 48 or something guitar tracks on it.
Jeez.
Yeah, wild stuff for this album. I'm upset. I fucking love it.
Yeah, the production behind it too, I think, makes it stand out even more. And without that, I don't think it's as great or well put together. So Butch Vig coming in like he did in the '90s, just putting out his stamp on another thing.
Yeah, and like we mentioned it out there. Butch Vig doing this 2 years, not even after
Right after
Nevermind,
Nevermind.
like working on this, not even a year and a half removed from. It's like,
Insane.
hey, the most iconic album to the grunge scene, and then what was anti-grunge at the point? Jane's Addiction and Smashing Pumpkins. So go and
Pretty
throw your
much.
name on another one.
And that's who they got compared to a little bit when they first came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like the next Jane's Addiction.
Yeah. Listening, that's what made me want to bring this up, was listening to Jane's.
Yeah.
I was like, the more I would literally finish listening to Jane's Addiction and then just jump right into Siamese Dream. I was like, it just makes me want to listen to it. But yeah, I loved it. I'm glad that, I love it still, obviously.
It's iconic, dude.
Yeah.
It's iconic. Smashing Pumpkins. It's iconic for that time frame. When you think of like big artists, big albums, you think of Nirvana, and then you think exactly immediately right next to these guys. So.
Yeah. It's like Nevermind, 10, Dirt, Siamese Dream, Super Unknown. Like,
That's at the top 5 right
I
there.
think that's like the top 5 albums of like that early 90s era.
Hard to argue that.
Hard to argue
Hard
that.
to
Well, anything we want to go over before we do top 3s and honorables?
I think this is an underrated album that a lot of people
Very.
overlook and like move on to Melancholy or go back to Gish and be like, oh, that's Smashing Pumpkins. But if you dive into this, like I did, because I'd never listened to it all the way through, it's an amazing album, and you find so many different styles.
If
Of
you get
music.
over like, sorry,
No, go ahead. I'm done.
if you get over like the hits on this,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you get towards the like second half, the end half of the album,
Oh yeah.
Good.
Primo.
Yeah, I was like, it was funny when you sent Silverfuck like 2 or 3 days ago. I was like, hadn't like, because I had been so familiar with this album that I was like not really paying it any mind. I was like listening. I was just pick and choose songs. Hadn't listened to Silverfuck in like a week, and I was like, oh, like dude. There's because they do these things. Everything sounds so big because of the production behind it and everything, and the way that it was recorded. So you get big sounding songs like Silverfuck that are just massive at the end of this album, and then they have this whole middle bridge where it all calms down, and you're like, okay, cool, we're chilling. End of the song, and it's like, nope, Billy's coming back one last time to scream at you. Yep. And now we're done. And Geek USA was another song that was like that, or Hummer, where it's like, ask yourself a question, like, just incredible. I love this album. Let's go ahead and dive in, huh?
Do it.
All right, I'll start off. Honorable mentions for me. Just mentioned the song Silverfuck. Classic. Listen to it all the way through. It's like almost 8 minutes long, but it's fucking worth it. Second honorable mention, Space Boy. Just that I don't know.
We didn't talk about this song.
Dude, man. Dude, there's so many, because isn't it about like Billy's like dead brother or something?
It's very kind of, almost sad.
It's very sad. But then it's like, like the Space Boy, I miss you, like that. But then the one line from this album that has been stuck in my head forever is, I used to be a little boy. I don't know why. I wake up and I used to be a little boy goes through my head. So shout out Space Boy. Number 3, Geek USA. Early or like late favorite for me. Number 2 was Hummer. Early favorite when I got back into this. And then number 1, Mayonnaise, man. That guitar tone that guitar sound will just always be in my head. Just love it. So shout out Smashing Pumpkins.
Fuck yeah. I'm almost doing exactly your same top 3, but honorable mention, Silverfuck. I like that song. Number 3, Geek USA.
Hell yeah.
First listen of the album, liked it, and every time it came on, I liked it even more. Number 2 was Mayonnaise.
Yep.
And then my favorite song was Soma. I love that Soma song. That and also Hummer were super good for me. That also like just shy of my top 3, but great album.
Hell yeah. Thank you. I'm glad that we liked it. It's fun to revisit something that you're like, oh yeah, Siamese Dream, and then you're like, oh shit, this is Siamese Dream.
Yeah, then you're actually, this is it.
Yeah, because I thought I knew what this album was, and then I listened to it again, and I was like, oh, I didn't even fucking understand. Yeah, I was like, foolish me. Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, that was 1992's Siamese Dream by Smashing Pumpkins. I keep seeing alternating years. Every time I see it, it's like 92 or 93. Have you seen that too? I don't know.
Share my top 3.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Asshole.
My bad. I was like, wait, Matt didn't say anything. My bad.
No, but Soma, that was a song that grew on me later on today, actually.
So good.
I was listening to it at the game, and I was like, oh my god, this song is so good. But 3, 2, 1. Honorable mention, Luna. Really like that song. Space Boy, number 3, based on kind of what you said there. Number 2, Cherub Rock, because that's the first song I ever heard by this band. Remember the video on MTV. And then number 1, because it had, so many genres mixed into it. It just reminded me of a lot of different things that other bands copied, was Silverfuck.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Sorry for almost cutting you off from doing top 3s.
It's okay.
We would have squeezed them in. Anyway, once again, love that Soma. Sorry, I just keep, every time I think of a song, I'm like, I want to keep talking about it. Anyway, let's wrap it up. That's 1993's Siamese Dream by Smashing Pumpkins. Go ahead, give it a listen, and then while you're at it, go ahead and listen to Melancholy, another great one. Good follow-up to this album. Anyway, that's been the regularly scheduled programming here for Whatchu Spinnin 72. Right here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere you find podcasts. We're going to go ahead and let you know what's coming up next for episode 73. Stick around. We'll catch you in just a few. Stroke me, stroke me. Song that I thought that song said something for until probably
something.
I thought it said something until probably a year and a half ago.
Hey,
I'm not kidding. It was an embarrassing long amount of time. Hell yeah, Billy Squier, The Stroke. It's a very, very fun song. Okay, well, you know what? Guys, I gotta say, it's been a fucking blast, huh? What do we think? Fun time?
Great, yes.
I think
like
so.
Our Q&A at the beginning and our great picks
Oh, yeah.
all around.
So, but I'm very interested to see what's coming in about 2 weeks' time on episode 73, which, stick around. At the end of that episode, special announcement coming up at the end of episode 73. But, yeah, we got to introduce what's coming at that time right now. So to do that, we go in the order we talked, which means, Matt, you're up first, my friend. What you got?
Going back to hip-hop, because I've strayed from that formula for a while. 1997, band called Abstract Tribe Unique. The album's called Underground Fossils.
Ooh, hell yeah. Abstract Tribe Unique.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. Unique.
Very underground cut, Matt.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. We digging.
Love it.
I love it. Hell yeah. And next up, we got Jake.
Yeah, I'm stuck in 07 because this album is also in 07, and I am as well going hip hop. So,
Hell yeah.
and I'm going back in time also on the pod just because I'm bringing up this group, which was the first group I brought up in the first episode.
Oh,
of this
fuck.
Album of this podcast. So, 2007, Blue in Exile, Below the Heavens.
Hell yes.
Love this album. I think you guys will dig it.
Hell yeah, dude. Oh, that's going to be sick. I think I've heard like maybe a song off of that from way back when we were listening to Miles.
Yes.
But that's going to be sick. Well, boys, you know what? Hold on one second. Give me a second here.
It's a thick one, so it's a little tack to pull out of the sleeve,
It's 4 discs.
and so I'm gonna do. I think it might be 3, but okay. Here goes.
All right. So kind of like I said at the beginning with this Q&A, I've been getting really into this group. It just makes me fucking happy listening to these guys. So I'm going with my first ever live album as well, Europe 72 by the Grateful Dead, released in 1972. There's one album cover,
Well, that's a great album cover.
and then there's an alternate one
gosh.
of a shoe jumping through a rainbow.
Which happens every day.
Yeah, just your everyday.
Yep.
When you're in line at Subway, a shoe comes through a rainbow. Anyway, yeah, Europe 72, Grateful Dead. I tried my best not to bring this up today. I listened to a bunch of other shit and was like, nope, can't get away from it. So there we go.
Love it. Nice.
But hip hop with Abstract Tribe Unique, going to be awesome. You were really stoked when you got this, so
Yes.
I'm very excited to listen to that. And then, Blue in Exile, man.
Mm-hmm.
Go watch go give episode 1 a listen. Listen to some Miles, some Mad Villainy, and some fucking Illmatic. But in the meantime, go ahead and tell your friends about this episode and every episode in between this and episode 1. You can find us on Instagram at Whatchu Spinnin, spelled exactly how you see it on the logo behind us and in the title. Find us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, everywhere else you could think of a podcast, find it. Follow me at Dorian Dilly on Instagram, posting music stuff, all sorts of good stuff. I am what they call employment challenged at the time, so I might start doing some like music review stuff on Instagram. Ooh. So follow me there. But in the meantime, tell a friend, stay hydrated, stay warm, stay cool, whatever applies to you. Eat some good food, and tell your mom you love her. Peace out. It's Whatchu Spinnin, episode 72. Talk to you later.